Wiki still is suffering from the hangover of his Thuggish reign in River State. He still thinks that he is still governed. He lacks emotional intelligence. Whether you like it or not, Wiki's behavior so far in the public space is that of a talk. What brought him here? What made him a minister? Because he actively participated in rigging. That is it, nothing else. Foreign government is composed of the benefactor of state capture. And that's why the country is not at peace. Everybody knows right now that the president is tense due to the actions of the US president. Most people are lying low. There is nothing to be gained by starting a war with the military. Everybody is quietly trying to see how they can be gentle enough not to anger the Americans. And then suddenly we have Wiki and his madness. This is the same Wiki who have been trying to undermine the opposition. Wiki has demonstrated that he lacks emotional intelligence. Everybody knows right now that the president is tense due to the actions of the US president, wanting it to get its act in order and stop the genocide against Christians. That's why you've seen a lot of people have toned down all sorts of politicking, only for Wiki to now want to start a war with the military. It doesn't help. Right now, things are not very, very clean in the country. The reasons you're talking about coup is there is a lot of discontent against the president. A section of the military are not happy. That's why you saw them even planning a coup. All you now need is peace with the remainder of the military. You don't need to start a war with the military. And don't forget, this is a property that the owner got approvals, due approvals from the FCT to build. And he has gone far. But you see, Wiki still is suffering from the hangover of his Thuggish reign in River State. He still thinks that he is still governed. Whether you like it or not, Wiki's behavior so far in the public space is that of a talk. And what we need, what brought him here, what made him a minister, because he actively participated in rigging. That is it, nothing else. Nothing good made him minister, because he rigged. This is his only claim to fame, to have gotten the presidential nomination to be minister. And that's what we're saying. The current government is composed of the benefactor of state capture. And that's why the country is not at peace. Right now, you have international interrogation of what's going on in Nigeria. Most people are lying low. There is nothing to be gained by starting a war with the military. These are properties that the military legally got papers for. And the man has sunk a lot of money into it. Then Wiki went there and they said no. He sent people there and they said, listen, we have started building in line with the approvals given to us by the FCDA. The people from FCDA say, are you sure you have approval? They say, yes. Bring the paper, let us see. They brought the papers and gave to FCDA. Wiki looked at it. He said, no. I hereby revoke. There are processes for revoking properties and things that you gave approvals to. When you revoke, you will also also tell them you will take so and so place. Such things didn't happen. And then he just said he revoked, and then started reselling the properties to who he wants. Even there had been some private agreement between Wiki and these military developers that they will concede something as much as 18 hectares to a group that Wiki is interested, and the people agree because the land is vast. And they went on to start developing the ones that they have money for, only for Wiki to come in the middle, send people, and after the people show them the papers, approvals from FCDA for them to commence work. When you give approval, what you're telling the builder to do is to put money to the site. Now you say you want to revoke it. You're not revoking it for the public interest. No. You're revoking it to give to your cronies or to give someone that paid. Good. Why is Wike going after these green areas that were gardens before? Because the other ones he wanted to just outrightly, cancel, had issues. So he's now looking to cancel the green areas and then repurpose them. Instead of them being green areas that are used for outside recreations like bars and everything, you now want to repurpose them for estates. There's nothing wrong with that. But whoever you're taking their property from, there are processes. You will call the people and say, we're taking this from you, but we will compensate you with so and so and so. Now, these military big people now have their juniors who serve them currently in positions of authority. There is no way those juniors who also are privy to the discussions will allow their seniors and their bosses to be humiliated by this minister that lacks emotional intelligence. Wike has become an embarrassment for this government. At a time like this, when the country is in turmoil, yes, the gradual killings, Christian genocide has been going on, but it didn't start on that tinubu. It was officially aided by government under Buhari. There is nothing like farmers' headers crisis. No, it was a push to gain land. As I said earlier, when the crisis happened in 2015 in Mali, President Buhari was among leaders of West Africa that were signatories to that 2015 agreement. Instead of working to implement the 2015 agreement in Mali, no, Buhari sought ways to bring those refugees from across West Africa into Nigeria. There is no law that says if you bring people, you have to kill Nigerians, you have to call it jihad, shout Allah Akbar before you kill people. No. As a way to take their land. The ones who are not killed are headed into refugee camps, while outsiders and foreigners take over their lands. This is the problem the international community are now demanding that Nigeria put a stop to. So it has tensed up everywhere in our country. And we expect everybody to be calm. That's why most of the ministers you hear talk, this is the first time they've ever spoken in public since the Trump rebuke of the Tinubu administration for not doing anything in regards to the Christian genocide across the Middle East.
Absolutely. Most of them haven't said anything in public after.
They have not said it because of how very weighty this American challenge on us is. The government thought it could do denial, but we have also told the government privately that the more you engage in denial, the more the Americans will believe that this administration is not the current administration, not the correct one that can work with the international community towards ending this genocide, and so they will demand for regime change.
I was going to mention that
everybody being calm.
A U.S. House of Rep member already said something about regime change if this persists.
That is exactly what I'm telling you. That's why everybody is calm down. That's why you've not had any minister talk. Everybody have been quiet, trying to work underneath. But look at Wiki. That's why I told you earlier, he lacks emotional intelligence. Anybody with emotional intelligence right now knows that the game to play is bring down the pressure. If you notice, the government is not saying anything. The government have been advised that it's either you do the correct thing or you will be seen as being complicit with the Fulani. Because I told you earlier, the religion of duty amounts to criminal negligence, and negligence is a criminal offense. So Tinubu's incompetence in managing the Fulani jihad is the reason why the international community are asking that it's either Tinubu stop it or the Americans say they will come here and take out those people. We know the only people committing crisis are people who are with government. If you go to the east and say who are the terrorists, you will say that they are elements of the Buhari administration. That is the truth. The Americans know how to investigate and find out what the truth is. That's why since the Americans say they are coming here to catch and deal with the terrorists, the only people complaining against American coming are the Fulani. Not everybody in the north, not the Hausa, not the Birom, not the Bagi, not the TV, not the Idoma, not the Kanuri. It is only the Fulani. Democracy is a game of numbers, and they don't like to have the numbers. All the advantages that they've gotten through the days of the military, they can maintain those entitlement positions when they don't have numbers to sustain such in a democracy. And that's why you see them levying war against the rest of Nigeria as a strategy to seize Nigeria by force. And that's why you saw this crisis. And how is it that we are this weak? Nigeria is a Christian majority country till tomorrow. But you see, as I said earlier, the cascade of coups that occurred when Buhari made sure Ekweme, a Christian, didn't emerge after Shagari. That coup was followed by Babangida's coup and Abacha coup. Those three coups plus the Abdul Salami rule made sure that Christians were written out of existence in Nigeria through decrees. And that's how, in a democracy, those who wanted to implement those fraudulent assertions and positions that were written into decrees by soldiers, they could not do that, and that's the reason why you have this violence. So, yes, the country is currently at a place it has never been before. Most Nigerians are begging Trump to hurry up, this is coming. But I also understand we are being careful. We are waiting. The statement from the US president excites the majority of Nigerians who believe that their country has been captured by a Sunni minority who now seeks to cleanse the Christians from the Christian states of Taraba, of Benue, of states like Nasarawa,
Gotcha.
states like Plateau, areas like Satan Borono, Satan Gombe, Satan Kaduna, where you saw massive ethnic cleansings under the Buhari administration. So these are the things that we are complaining against. And I believe anybody who means well for Nigeria should understand that those cries are genuine. And now the country is gentle. You can see everybody is quietly trying to see how they can be gentle enough not to anger the Americans. And then suddenly we have Wiki and his madness. This is the same Wiki who have been trying to undermine your position. Don't forget that. Wiki has now become an existential threat to our democracy, and I don't think that serves him well. That's why most Nigerians don't like him.